I used to fear being alone. Then solitude showed me that quiet isn't punishment. It's where the old codes finally soften enough to change. Welcome in, my loves, mis amores. If we're here right now, it's not because life has been cute or calm to us. It's because something in us is tired of holding it alone. Because in a world like today, we're craving something real. Not polished, not perfect, just something we can connect to and finally relax into. In this space, we don't call ourselves damaged. We were just coded to live in survival. And now, we are recoding to be and feel free. Let me start by, I've been sitting with myself a little differently this week. Not for any big reason, just with a level of honesty I haven't given myself in a while. And what I'm realizing is the healing I thought I had under control, it's not as complete as I believed. I'm still grounded and I'm still functioning. I am still doing my work. But there are layers inside of me that are waking up and are asking to be seen. And that's the part that surprised me because I generally love my solitude. I love the quiet of my room. The way I finally have my own space after a lifetime of sharing it with siblings, partners, kids, just everybody. I love the peace. I love the privacy. I love the slow mornings where nobody is asking me for shit. That part of my life is real and it's so beautiful. But loving solitude doesn't cancel out the truth. I still crave connection. I still long for family, for belonging, for that feeling of being part of something bigger than myself. Those aren't just wounds. Those are lifelong desires. Those are dreams. Those are goals. And I'll be honest, sometimes the quiet makes those cravings much louder. This week, some of the conversation in women's group pulled us inwards in ways we weren't expecting. They opened doors I didn't even know were still locked. But what truly shifted something in me was a brief phone call with a friend. The kind of conversation that's soft enough to disarm you without trying to. And talking to her made me realize that even though I've built this strong, peaceful world for myself, part of me still panics in the silence. Part of me still doesn't know what to do when someone actually meets me with kindness instead of chaos. And feeling that in real time, it softened something in me I didn't even realize I was bracing against. Because when you grow up on instability, when chaos was your normal, calm can feel like something wrong. Quiet starts to feel like rejection. And even now, even after all this work, I'm teaching my body a lesson my mind already knows. Stillness isn't danger. Solitude isn't abandonment. And love doesn't disappear just because the room is empty. So this week, I've been sitting with myself differently. Not to fix, not to force anything, but to finally admit that two things can be true at the same time. I love being alone, and I still want to feel connected. I'm grounded, and I'm still growing. I'm safe, and I'm still unwinding the old code. And honestly, this honesty, this softness, this moment right here, this is where the new code begins. And in this moment of honesty, I had to admit something to myself. Solitude is still layered for me. I love it, yes. But I also fear the parts of it that press on old wounds. Both can be true, and both are true right now. The peace of my room, the quiet I never had growing up, the freedom to exist in my own space without tiptoeing around anyone's mood. This is the first time in my entire life that a room has actually been mine, where my walls feel like safety instead of survival. I get to record my podcast here. I get to stretch out here. I get to breathe here. And there's something sacred about that. But at the same time, and I didn't want to admit this out loud, I've been feeling this deep ache for connection, for family, for belonging. Not just people around me, but that feeling of I fit here. I matter here. These are my people, my crew. And it's so wild because I've always thought I'll be further along in this part of my healing. I thought solitude was supposed to fix everything, wrap me up, make me whole. And in a lot of ways it has. I feel safest in my quiet, in my room, in my routines. But this week made me realize I'm still learning how to be alone without feeling left. Still learning that wanting connection isn't weakness. Still learning that even though I love my solitude, loneliness hits different when your heart remembers what it felt like to almost belong somewhere, even if that belonging was an illusion. And sitting with that truth, that I love being alone, but I also crave being held in community, that's when the real work, it's happening right now, in real time, as I'm saying this. So let me tell you about a period in my life. A couple of years ago, I disappeared from my own life without even realizing it. And I don't mean emotionally poetic disappeared. I mean literally. My hygiene has slipped. I stay in bed longer than I've ever admit out loud. Got to a point where my kids were the ones reminding me to eat, to shower, to breathe. I smoked to numb and scrolled to distract, repeating the same loop every day. I wasn't living. I was slowly drifting, fading quietly into the background of my own home while the world kept moving without me. And looking back, that was one of the scariest parts. How easy it was to vanish in plain sight. There's no dramatic breakdown or movie scenes, just slow erosion. Just a woman who has been hurting for so long, she didn't realize she stopped tending to herself altogether. But in the middle of all that drifting, somewhere towards the end of 2023, there was a moment of clarity I didn't ask for. One day, as I was doom scrolling like always, numb and half present, I saw a picture of my ex, smiling with someone new. It wasn't jealousy or heartbreak I felt. It was the realization that he had moved on, and I was still sitting in the same place emotionally, waiting to be chosen, waiting for a version of love that was never coming. And at that point, that moment stung. But it also snapped something in me. It made me look at myself and firmly say, Juju, what the fuck? We need to get our shit together, and you gotta stop your bullshit. Or something along those lines. So I made a choice. A quiet one, not a glamorous one. I told myself, if I want my life to hold me, I have to be the one who shows up for me, for my kids, for the version of me that still believed there was something worth saving. A shift, not a miracle or transformation, but a choice. And that's when the rebuilding started. Not as magical or pretty, just decision after decision after decision. Like brushing my teeth, opening the blinds to let the sun in, taking a shower. They're small things, but they were mine. And each one was a tiny vote for the woman I was trying to become. Now, sitting here today, I can see how that season wasn't a failure. It was a turning point. Because the moment I stopped waiting to be rescued and learned how to hold myself, something settled in me. A steadiness I didn't have before. And that's the energy I'm bringing with me into this conversation now. And if I'm being completely honest, part of learning how to hold myself meant finally looking at the grief I never gave myself permission to feel. My losses didn't happen in one blow. They fell in a domino effect. My husband's life ended in a car accident on Easter Day 2017. In mid-2018, my non-bio daughter figure died from diabetes complications her body couldn't recover from. By the end of that same year, my ex's mother, a woman I call mom, passed away after fighting cancer. And 6 months later, in 2019, her baby brother died in a motorcycle accident. So by the time pandemic hit, my nervous system was already trained to expect the next loss. When grief comes in waves like that, family stops feeling like something solid. It becomes something fragile. Something you reach for very carefully because you're scared if you hold it too tightly, it'll break all over again. So when I was with my ex, I wasn't searching for some fairy tale love. I was searching for stability, for something that felt steady, a place to land, a house full of people, noise, laughter, cousins, elder, that sort of thing. The kind of big family I've always dreamed of. The kind I grew up wishing existed for me. And here's the part I had to tell myself the truth about. I've been over the relationship itself for a long time. I still love him. Not in a come back to me way, but as someone who mattered once. But wanting him again? No. That part has settled. What lingered wasn't him. It was the meaning he carried. The illusion of belonging he represented. The loud house, the gatherings, the sense of Maybe this time I belong somewhere. But the reality was, me and my kids were never treated like family. We were never fully seen. We were never invited into spaces where real belonging lived. It always felt like we were guests trying to earn a seat at a table that was never meant for us. And because I've always longed for connection, for family, for a place where I truly belong, of course I ignored the red flags. And of course I stayed longer than I should have. Not because I didn't love him, I did. But the love wasn't what kept me there. What kept me there was the hope of belonging to something bigger than myself. Now, sitting in the present, healed enough to be honest, but still learning, I can see it clearly. What hurt the most wasn't losing him. It was realizing how small I used to make myself just to feel close to something that looked like family. That's the part that still tugs at me sometimes. The old version of me who didn't know she deserved more than almost belonging. And all of that, the love, the loss, the illusion, the awakening, it still lives in me. Not as something I'm trapped in, but as a truth I can finally look at without breaking. It shapes the way I sit with myself now, the way I move through solitude, with more honesty, more awareness, and far less fear. By the time I could finally name my truths without falling apart, something in me opened. It was small at first, a shift, not a breakthrough, but it gave me just enough room to start rebuilding, quietly, slowly, intentionally. And that's when it hit me. 2024 was the year I stopped waiting for someone to save me and started creating a life I could actually be proud of. I went back to school, actually went back to school. Not the dreamy version I used to imagine, but the real gritty one. The summer GED classes, the notebooks filled up again after years of barely writing anything at all. The late nights studying while my kids slept. I walked in every day with fear pressing against my ribs, but determination sitting steady in my mind. Then the holidays came and passed, and I missed the deadline to return. Oh Lord. I thought I blew my chance. But one of the staff, this magnificent woman who believed in me before I believed in myself, told me to come anyway. So a whole month after classes had already started, I walked back in. And by February, I was already taking my GED tests and passing them. In early 2025, when I passed all the tests, which it was the last piece I needed, it felt like something in me finally exhaled after holding my breath for a whole decade. Graduating wasn't just a diploma for me. It was proof that I could keep promises to myself even after losing so many versions of me along the way. And I didn't stop there. Therapy became a real commitment, not something I ran to only when I was unraveling, but a steady grounding practice. Every week, sitting with the uncomfortable, the confusing, the old coding, and the new ones I'm trying to form. And somewhere inside that work, I found myself circling back to something I've always been drawn to. Helping people the way I wish someone had helped me. That's how I ended up in peer support training. I'm currently working towards my CRSP and my CPRS. Not because I'm trying to feel important or because I'm trying to be some kind of expert, but because I know what it's like to choke on silence, to feel invisible, to which someone would just sit beside you and say, "You're not crazy, baby, you're just hurting." I don't want to stand above anyone. I want to stand with people. I want to walk with them, the same way others are finally learning to walk with me. And the more I rebuild, the more I've been noticing something else. Healing changes the way you see yourself. Not in a big dramatic fireworks, but in the quiet everyday moments where you realize you're finally becoming someone you can stand beside. I've been learning to trust my own voice again, to let myself soften without feeling unsafe, to let people show up without assuming they're going to disappear. There's a new steadiness forming in me now, still fragile, but real. And even with all that growth, there are days when the oldest version of me tries to come back. The version who felt invisible. The version who never expected anyone to stay. That's the part I'm learning to hold with more compassion now. The older me, the scared me, the quiet me. And the truth is, from the outside, it probably looks like I've got it all together. Strong, steady, untouched. She's fine. She doesn't need anybody. But inside, I'm still figuring out how to hold the part of me that aches for someone to sit beside me and say, "You belong here." Not out of weakness, but out of the simple truth that belonging is human. And it's something I was never really given the space to feel. The rebuilding is happening. It's real. But it's still a progress. And I'm learning step by step that growth isn't a performance. It's a practice. And then this week arrived with its own lesson. At Women's Group, we went deeper than we expected. There was something about the way certain stories landed, the way a few of us cracked open a little more than usual, that made me feel seen. Not only for the strong parts of me, but for the tender, shaky pieces I usually keep tucked away. And as beautiful as that felt, it was also terrifying. Because if this kind of accepting is real, if this kind of space actually exists, then that means I have to learn how to stay, not just in the group, but in my own body when people really see me. That's where my old code tries to sneak back in. The old code whispered things I used to believe without a question. If it feels too good, back up. Leave before they decide you're too much. Run before the rejection comes. Because in the past, when things got overwhelming, I didn't just get quiet. I disappeared. I would vanish for months, ghost people I cared about, then try to re-enter with some big explanation. Not because I meant to lie, but because I didn't know how to say, "I got scared. I didn't know how to stay." That was the language my nervous system understood back then. Disappear first, then perform your way back in. But this week, I did something different. I stepped back from my daily messages, those little notes I send out to put a smile on someone's face, because I generally wasn't okay mentally or physically. Normally, I would have disappeared and come back like nothing happened. But this time, I didn't. Instead of pretending I was fine or forcing myself to give when I had nothing in me, I came back and told the truth. I let them know my body hasn't been doing well this week. And I didn't want to show up from a place that wasn't real. It might seem small to you, but for me, that's a new code. Choosing honesty over disappearing and presence over performance. And then there was the phone call with my friend Jay. She's one of my newest sisters from group. And the way she held me on that call, phew. Instead of trying to fix me or rush me through my feelings, she offered something I wasn't used to. Patience, presence, space. She simply kept repeating, think about it, baby. Take a breath. Think about it. Soft, steady, and patient. She asked the kind of questions that made you pause before you answer. The kind that invite honesty instead of performance. And for maybe the first time in my life, someone gave me the room to feel without making me worry that I was a burden. It didn't land as criticism or shame. It landed as real, deeply honest, deeply loving. All of that brings me back to solitude. I'm not here talking to you like I've mastered being alone. I'm not standing on a mountaintop giving lessons from some healed version of me. I'm learning this in real time. How to be alone without abandoning myself. To receive care without vanishing. And how to hold my craving for connection without calling myself needy or too much. I'm learning that loving myself while alone doesn't mean I never ache for people. It means I'm finally staying with myself through the ache. And if you're in your own quiet season, craving connection, but scared of being seen, I want you to know this. You're not failing because you still want people. Wanting to belong doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. The work, at least for me, is learning not to leave myself while I wait for the right people to sit beside me. If anything in today's episode pulled at something inside you, just notice that. You don't have to fix it, label it, or turn it into homework. Maybe today your only job is to pay attention to the way your body responds when you hear the truth spoken out loud. The way your shoulders soften, or your breath gets a little deeper, or the ache you've been ignoring finally gets a voice. And maybe the next time solitude starts to feel like punishment instead of protection, you pause for a moment and ask yourself a quiet question. Am I actually alone? Or am I just not abandoning myself this time? If that question lands anywhere in you, hold it gently. You've come this far without giving up on yourself. Even in the moments when you thought you did. Even in the seasons where you drifted, you're still here. You're still choosing you. Even if it's shaky. Even if it's slow. Even if it's new. You don't have to rush your becoming. You don't have to perform your progress. Just stay with yourself the way you wish someone else has stayed with you. That's enough for now. So thank you for sitting with me today. Be gentle with your mind. Honor what your body remembers. Until next time, stay real, stay open, and keep walking towards your light. Caribbean Coded.